What's up, guys and gals? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest behind the bar reviews with One Piece. One Piece, chapter 921, and this chapter is so damn hype. This chapter is so goddamn hype. It's entitled Shutamaru. And I'm like, okay, so are we finally going to see the bandit leader Shutamaru? Are we going to see that and stuff? And I don't even care about that at the beginning because there's just so much depth. There's so much information given. This is such a data dump. A lot of people say it slows down manga when they do data dump. But I've been rereading some Toriko and some Sunken Rock here and there and a little bit of the early Air Gear. And let me tell you something. Those are some of the best chapters where you actually have to spend as much time as you watched like a 22-minute episode of an anime, that you have to sit down and read for 22 minutes to fully think about every piece of information and try to chronicle it in your brain. Those are good chapters. They are. And this chapter is one of them. I mean, right off the bat, we get a great color page for Kaido and Luffy and Zoro, all looking badass. Then we jump over to there and we see the ladies. We see all the ladies in this Tokyo contest thing, Tokyo girls, whatever it is. And I'm just happy because there's Vivi. And for those of you who have followed my old channel before it got deleted and now follow my new channel, I might not have expressed it yet, but to me, Vivi is best girl. Vivi is best girl. Too many people tout about Nami because of certain reasons, and a lot of people, just to be different, tout about Robin. Nah. I'm with the third Straw Hat honorary, third Straw Hat female, and that is Vivi. Vivi is just, she's best girl. And she's in color. What a nice little, crazy English style hat she's wearing. It's just, Anyways, getting on with the actual chapter. We're just continuing straight on. So no big surprises yet. We're jumping in. We go, okay, so here's the plan, here's what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. We're going to attack Oni Island and all that stuff, or Onigashimi Island or something. I don't really know Japanese well enough to think I can pronounce that. Either way, it stands for Oni Island or Demon Island, so to speak. This is the base of Kaido and the 100 Beast Pirates. Now, they start talking a little bit about the information, like Brooke brings up a very good point that a lot of people were questioning. If this is an island, is it technically part of Wano? And Brooke brings it up, yes, it is part of Wano. So Wano is not confirmed to be an archipelago necessarily, but there are at least a few surrounding islands that are still considered part of the country. You can have an island nation that has a couple of rock islands, but because by the look of it, it's not a very big island necessarily. So you can have that as part of a country. You can have a few islands and not be labeled an archipelago necessarily. We need more confirmation for that because I know a lot of people were saying maybe Wano is one. But I don't believe this confirms that. It just confirms that the island is definitely part of Wano. Now, this is where they talk a little bit more about, Kinemon. He's married. So that's a big thing. I just want to jump into that right away because I found this whole dialogue scene hilarious. The fact that Sanji said, okay, Fire Festival, and Kiku's talking about, alright, well, the Shogun and everyone see, because in Wano, Kaido is revered as a radiant king, which is some form of god in Buddhism or something, according to the translator notes. Something like that. I think I read something similar in Shintoism one time, but either way, he's revered as a deity, as a god. And they're like, okay, so he's a kami, whatever. The Shogun and his officials go there once a year during this fire festival to pray to him. But in reality, all they do is get drunk and have a big banquet with the 100 Beast Pirates because they're all in cahoots together. So it's like, okay, alright. Now this begs the question, why? Why exactly do they pray to him? We'll get to that later, but I think we all know. Everyone who's watching this review and everybody's review on YouTube already knows the big thing at the end of the chapter. So, either way, at this point, Sanji basically says, so they'll be drunk, we'll be able to take them by surprise, and Kiku, you'll be able to see me do manly deeds, heroic deeds, and he's all happy and shit. And that's fine and good. I just really want Zoro and Sanji to meet back up because I think that's going to be such a funny interaction, especially with the bounty difference with Sanji and Zoro hasn't changed his yet, even though, in my opinion, Zoro's like he's first mate, so he's like up here compared to everybody else on the crew. But either way, and he says like leave that pervy old samurai, and Kinemon surprisingly goes, no, you don't understand. She is just a comrade. I have a wife of many years who I love very dearly. Do not misunderstand. And Kiku goes in the background and goes, oh yeah, Tsuru's fine by the way. Or Osuru, or however, are the T's silent? I forget. Japanese versus Spanish versus English. I'm all over the map with this stuff. And it's quite funny because then Kinemon looks at her like, wait a minute, what? You met my wife? It's like, oh yeah, she's a lovely person. And it's like, well, I haven't, and I guess it comes to the point that since he's been gone, or he was fast forward into the future by 20 years, which time travel in One Piece, still trying to get around that. But the fact that he did that, he's not sure how to approach his wife, or how to say, hey, honey, I'm home. It's only been 2 decades. Here's what kind of happened. And by the way, I can't stay. Got a rebellion plan. I don't know if she'd be that happy. I think Kinemon's afraid of his wife, like afraid of the repercussions of what will happen if he goes home right now. So he doesn't know how to go home and confront his wife right now. So that to me was rather hilarious. Now after this point, we see that Kinemon is once again reiterating the plan. He's made out kind of a flyer, sort of like message notice on parchment or paper, whatever they're using in Wano. And it's got a serpent sign and birds and all that stuff. And what it's basically signifying is everyone in Wano will get it, because Luffy doesn't really get it, and it's simply the second hour of the bird. This is how they used to tell time in medieval times. I didn't have enough time to confirm if this is some type of feudal era clock they used. Like, I know that there are hours of the day, you know, in China and stuff that they used to revere with different animals and such, so maybe there was something similar in Japan. I'm not 100%, but either way, the second hour of the bird, everyone in Wano shall know it. And he goes through and explains how Zoro and Robin and Frankie and Usopp's, all their jobs were. So, because they know of the moon tattoo signifying, now, I have a very ominous suspicion here. A very ominous suspicion in that maybe that moon tattoo is not exactly supporters. I don't know. Something just seems too convenient to me about that. It really does. There's something there that something's just, no, I'm not 100% convinced. I think that this is going to be one of those flip side things, and they're going to be caught with their pants around their ankles, so to speak. With this whole trusting the whole moon crescent thing tattoo. Maybe they're just infiltration spies for the Shogun. Or for Kaido. I don't know. I don't think Kaido's smart enough to come up with something like that, but we haven't seen enough of him to know. He could be the most intelligent character in all of One Piece for all we know. We don't know. So unlikely, but it could be the truth. So something about that. But either way, Zoro and Usopp were meant to distribute these flyers to secretly and as confidentially as they could to people they think that were on their side. Now, Luffy brings up that maybe Zoro didn't do really that much work around that stuff, but Usopp probably did, selling the snake oil and the like. He also mentions that Frankie started working as a carpenter and stuff because he knows about building stuff, but he's also gathering plans for the layout of the mansion and all that stuff. So this is all we kind of guessed a lot of this stuff, but clearly we are seeing that this plan was not without a great deal of thought and detail. For example, we also know that Brook is going to be invaluable. Nami, with her weather powers, is very similar to ninjutsu and such like that. So Kinemon goes through a lot of the different abilities of the Straw Hats and how to utilize them best. For example, Sanji goes gaga over Robin being a geisha dancing girl to try to get closer to Lord Orochi. Apparently she's made quite a reputation for herself, which is quite interesting as well. Now, this is where we get a lot of Naruto references. Naruto, whatever. And I understand they're friends and the like, the two mangakas, but it's. I mean, I'm just not interested. I love ninja stories. I love samurai. I love Japanese folklore. Love the mythologies. Love a lot of it. I even draw a lot of different things from Shintoism and the creation theory and Susanoo and all that stuff. But I will honestly say that the whole leaf on the, I mean, the leaf on the head thing isn't really, I mean, that's very a classic thing. That's dating further. That's more Kitsune and Shippo from Inuyasha and stuff like that, more so before it was into Naruto and such. But the jutsus and the fact that there's a shinobi named Shinobu who says, "Oh, I have a voluptuous, ninjutsu, if you would like to see it," sort of idea, and just it's laid on pretty thick. It's laid on kind of heavy, the Naruto references for me, and as I'm not a fan of that series at all, yeah, no, not really for me. But suffice it to say that we do get some different nice character designs. Nami, because Kinemon's a pervert, says, "Oh, well, you can be a shinobi, but we're going to dress really scantily," sort of idea. And is this how they dress? Absolutely. And it's like, no, they don't, idiot. Brooke thinks he's wearing a pair of panties on his head, which is kind of funny. But really, he's got all these arrows like sticking out of him, which is hilarious. So he's literally going to be portrayed as a dead ghost spirit. And we see this a lot in older anime and a lot of mangas where the whole little string with the triangle stuff usually signifies a chandler of a graveyard, so to speak, or a cemetery. And a lot of the time the spirits, that's what they have on their heads when they're in their ghost form, and they're always wearing the white robes, so to speak, like to signify we're dead. It's very, it's definitely very traditional, and I'm glad that Oda dragged a lot of traditional folklore stuff and a lot of things that people that read a lot of manga and anime would recognize the references. So that's really cool. Not much to say about Chopper's design or anything. Everyone still looks pretty cool and the like. I'm really focused on Brooke's design. I think it's hilarious with the arrows all over his body, and just the rest of it. It looks really cool. And once again, he does mistaken it for panties on his head. So that's kind of interesting. And after Shinobu introduces herself and all that, like, this is where Kinemon goes over 3 samurai semi-generals. There was a translation that said samurai generals, other ones that said just 3 very powerful samurai worth 100 men. Either way, semantics there, basically. These guys are going to be top fighters. These were top samurai under Lord Odin. One of them being Boy Ashura, the other one being Denjiro, and another one being Kawamura. I don't really exactly remember the exact names, but I'm sure we will all remember them if they appear later on in the story. Kinemon is convinced they are alive, and they are worth trying to find, so that's part of the reason they're going to do it. Now, this is where we cut over back to Leftovers Town, and we see the bandit leader, Shitamaru, which, of course, the chapter is named after, is there. Now, suffice it to say, I'm not 100% convinced, but I see why people would think it, and if it happens, okay, I accept it. I'm not on the fence about it. I'm pretty sure that we're all going to say that Boy Ashura is Shutemaru. The silhouette is so distinct with the puffy hair and then the one little cloud thing on the head, and a couple of flashback things we've seen, and even in this chapter. Then we jump over and we see Shutemaru, and he's got the same build and hairstyle and the like in the silhouette form. So it's just kind of like, yeah, that's probably Boy Ashura, and his name that was probably a title, or maybe Shutemaru is a name given to him by Lord Odin after he defeated him, or something like that. Either way, it would make sense that he would make Boy Ashura his one of his generals or one of his samurai after he defeated him and took over, sort of idea. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, apparently he's a bit of an asshole. He's a fat asshole because he's raiding all of Leftover Town. He's taking all the food that Luffy gave out and all the stuff, and he's terrorizing the town and such. And it's just like, really, do we want this asshole? Really? Anything Odin had taught him 20 years ago, he's forgotten. So I don't know if we really want him on our side. I mean, you can make the argument that, yeah, more firepower, the better. You don't need to believe in what Caesar Clown and Beje did, but they were, semi-helpful in the Big Mom assassination attempt sort of idea with Luffy and the gang. So, a lesser evil maybe, but I'm not on board with including this guy if he does turn out to be Boy Ashura or something. Then we see Jack. Now, I know Roger's base is going to have a freaking field day with this chapter. He's going to have a field day with this because, of course, Mammoth Boys. But this mammoth getting cut down deep. This mammoth, Jack is being made to look out like a bitch. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that say, okay, Jack's worthless or Shutamaru's a god or whatever. But what ends up happening in this chapter is pretty much Jack shows up riding in like a boss on some type of land shark thing that looks amazing. Jack looks like a boss. And he's like, okay, bandit leader. Have you heard of Straw Hat Luffy? I hear he's in these parts. The only reason you're still alive is because Kaido wants to make you one of his underlings. Another support that Kaido would want Oden's top people under his command. Because Oden, once again, don't think Oden's dead, but also Oden's not weak either. Oden was not weak. Oden was a powerhouse on the Roger Pirates as far as we understand. I mean, he had the respect of Roger and Whitebeard and everyone in Garp probably, all the great legends. So, Oden was a boss. Anybody under him is still probably a boss. So, and we see that in this chapter because, they're taunting each other back and forth, and Shutamaru's like, yeah, alright. And I'm thinking, oh, this is like some fat Tenryobito wannabe samurai ass who just happens to command, like, he's probably got a lot of money or something. No, this fat bitch actually, made Jack look like a bitch. He really did. I'm sorry. He really did. Because, I understand he caught Jack unawares. Jack wasn't using his devil fruit and such. But once again, we know that devil fruits don't necessarily mean victory or overall strength. Someone without a devil fruit can still own someone regardless. But right here, they do combat and he just zing, and fat dude's flying and he's like, don't underestimate the power of samurai. Meanwhile, Jack, broken one of his sickle sword things, cut him all up here. He's coughing blood. And he's like, you bastard, sort of idea. And I'm like, okay. So before we get to the little end part of the chapter, because this is basically the summary of the chapter, once again, I'm not going to be like one of those guys in the comment section that says, okay, Jack's a total loser, or Shutamaru is on Shanks level. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to say is this does not look good, Mammoth Boys. I'm sorry, it doesn't. All Jack has done is fight weaker people and then taken losses. That's all he's done so far. Now, in the next few chapters, maybe he'll start poning. I don't know. But it's, I would say, almost confirmed that he's the weakest of the three calamities. He's third calamity. There are two people above him. There have to be. Because this is not a good way. I mean, for Jack the Drought to be treated like this is, I guess, kind of okay in a sense because it's a little different. Like you don't want to have the bland same character arc for every different pirate crew. But Jack basically fought against Nekomamushi and Inarashi, not together, as far as I recall, not together. They fought him individually over days and days and days. And they managed to somehow all survive, even taking massive injuries. But you're forgetting the fact that Inarashi and Nekomamushi did not fight in Sulong form, which was talked about later on, and it was like, okay, that's why they're not worried about next time they get invaded, because they're like, oh, Sulong, we'll kick the shit out of them. The other thing is, he pissed off Sengoku and all that gang, and he got wiped. He got kicked in the face by a country, Zo, and got wiped. And now he's talking big talk, comes strolling into Leftovers Town, and Shutamaru just sing speed. As King of Lightning would say, speed! Speed! And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like there, Jack just took a massive hit. A massive hit. I mean, people talk about Luffy punching Garp, and Garp's weakness, because Garp let him hit him, and he had this little bit of blood after he got socked in the face. People were saying, oh, Garp's weak as hell because he has a little bit of blood after letting Luffy smack him total full force and not trying to defend himself. People talk crap about that. So, I mean, Jack was itching for the fight. He's the one instigating it, and he gets... I mean, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Jack. I think he's the most incompetent, badass looking dude I think I've seen in manga in a very long time. I think he picks battles he just cannot win. I don't know what it is with him, but it'll be exciting to see who he actually squares off against in a one-on-one fight and who actually takes him down and how. Those are all key things. But once again, this is just another proof that Jack he's third. He's third on the calamity scale. He just is. Now, the end of the chapter. Oda finally, after 20 years, Oda finally got to draw and put Shenron in his manga. I guarantee you, he has been waiting for this day to be able to say, yep, I have the Dragon Balls in One Piece. Like, he is just so stoked. He was waiting to draw. He probably had that panel drawn for like 2 years. I would be shocked if he actually drew that this week. Like, he probably had that panel, just the panel of Kaido, drawn as a dragon god. Like, he loves Dragon Ball, so I see it. Like, he's been waiting for that. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting because now, confirmed, the only one without a devil fruit, the only Yonko that it can actually stand toe-to-toe without a devil fruit is red-haired Shanks. A lot of people were saying Kaido would not have a devil fruit. I also posted that theory. But I also said that he could have the Dragon Zone. I did say it. If I find the clip, it's going here. And it's that he ate a dragon-type devil fruit. Once again, a mythical zone. I think everyone's stating the fact that there's no way he's a Logia or a Paramecia because he's Kaido of the Beast. That being said, dragons are, I guess, revered to be immortal or invulnerable. So that term can kind of be swapped out pretty easily. The only other real explanation people had for this was dragon scale tattoos on his arm and his shoulder and stuff, which do resemble the dragon scales of the classic Chinese style dragons and stuff. So there is that. And also his Shenron-like mustache people are referring to. The fact that it does the wave like Shenron from Dragon Ball Z. Now, either way, whether I found the clip or not, that the Dragon Zone is something that we saw before. We saw it with Momonosuke having a failed attempt at the Dragon Zone, and the reason he might even hate his power because Kaido was the one with the real one, and blah blah blah. Vegapunk tried to, recreate it and all this stuff. Like, you can understand Momonosuke, and also why the people want to revere him and they play this game of Kaido being a god, because he's Ryujin, he's Shenron, he's literally a dragon god. He's the dragon kami, revered in all types of different Asian cultures. So, yeah, I see it. And he's probably the mythical version. Oh, wouldn't it be great if his devil fruit was actually called Model Shenron? Come on. I want, or something similar. Just give me something like that, please. The dragon fruit Model Shenron. That way, like, you could still have a Western dragon later on or something like that. But no, this is so cool because now it's confirmed. Kaido has a devil fruit. He's got the probably mythical zone dragon. But once again, that brings up another argument because people say that dragons are actually in the One Piece world. That would no longer make it mythical. That would make it ancient. So it's either an ancient zone or a mythical zone. I'm still betting on mythical. I'm still betting on mythical zone dragon fruit model Shenron. Or model something, Toriyama, something like that. Because come off it, the way he's drawn and everything, it's such a Dragon Ball Z ode. Like I was getting like a little like okay Naruto references, whatever in this chapter, but in the same chapter they ended off with such a Dragon Ball Z reference. I'm just so hyped about this. Everybody should be hyped about this. It is just so damn cool. Like it's just like this arc of One Piece is going to be the best arc. It's going to beat Marineford. And that's my favorite part of One Piece. And it's going to make it seem way down here in the lower tiers of greatness. We're not even, like, we have had so many great, mind-boggling since Reverie. And Wano just keeps pulling out gold. It's just great. Either way, guys, I could rant about how great this revelation is and talk about it and rant for 20 minutes. I might make a video all about Kaido being a dragon later. That's up for debate. But either way, let's end the video now because this was a longer review because I was just so stoked to talk about every single portion of it, and especially the big reveal at the end, and about Shutamaru being Boy Ashura, and Jack maybe not being really that great of a calamity. But either way, guys, what do you think of the chapter? Of course you all loved it. But what did you think of my review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment as always. Always very much appreciated. This has been Griever with your One Piece Chapter 921 review. As always, drink responsibly. See you next time, guys. Later.